Hey there, welcome back to Tennille Talks. So this reading is about a house of cards that is in the process of collapsing. And the reading begins in the early years of a divine being's life when they were recognized as being good enough to fulfill some type of temptation. Now we do have a couple here, a mature man and a mature woman, and they both share this desire for wealth, for indulgence, and for the finer things of life. Now, it was the mature woman that was approached at some point and asked to consider the idea of gaining wealth, fortune, and success. Now, when I asked the cards, who was this mature woman, the Devil card came out to reveal that this woman may be a Capricorn. If not Capricorn, they could be an earth sign. So that's Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo, and or they can be someone that has some type of spiritual attachment, some type of demonic entity. But nonetheless, this woman has egoic attachments, and these attachments, they govern their life, and it binds them to the pursuit of money, fortune, greed, and pride. And so this person may be stubborn, pessimistic. People may consider them to be practical, determined, diligent, but nonetheless, these are individuals that are attention-seeking and often led by finances. So this woman, whether it is apparent or not, right now is in mourning and meditating about the skeletons in the closet that may soon be tumbling out. Now, this woman is in deep reflection, unable to make peace with whatever this past bribe was that she made earlier in her life. This woman could be in her 60s, 70s, 50s, 40s, and that comes out as a mature woman. So I would consider this to be somebody that is older, possibly beyond childbearing years. Okay. And so the decisions that she made earlier in her life about a possible family member or a young child that she had access to, this is haunting her, right? And so the lack of humility in this person's character is the exact thing that led her to accept help or assistance from this dark energy that stepped in and offered this bribe. And so the mourning that this woman feels, wasn't always one of grief. When this was accepted many, many years ago, what she felt was delight and joy, right? But time reveals all. And so if you are not already aware, you are a deeply gifted manifester. You have a remarkable ability. And so you have the ability to expand into higher planes of existence, right? And so you can create deeper connections with yourself. You can channel and you can manifest your higher purpose and intentions into the physical plane and into your everyday life. And so we all have a higher self and a lower self. You have the ability to literally reach up, have a conversation with your higher self, decide what it is you want to do, snatch it out of the air, and bring it down and create it. That is not common. That is not common. Okay? And so the fact that that is true about you, this was recognized. And so in your youth, you may have been pegged with having a star-like quality and spiritual abilities without you even knowing it, right? And you have a certain amount of charm or imagination, a creativity, a loyalty, or you're just a great communicator, not even with people that are your same age, but just something about your energy can captivate people across all generations, races, and cultures. There's just something you possess that draws people in. And it has no bounds. It has no bounds. And so this star-like quality and your spiritual abilities, this was noticed and sought after by the devil itself. And so your family or those close connections may have resented you for simply existing in the way that God created you to be. And so a lot of times as children, we're not always able to pick up on jealousy or envy or resentment. We don't pick up on it for what it really is. We tend to internalize it and think that something is wrong with us. And so then we become this kind of people pleaser where we want to make everybody happy, right? And we're not realizing that they will never be happy with us because of what we possess, because of who we are. And this is how we kind of develop those warped personalities or characters where we essentially self-deprecate, trying to appease others as best we can. But it's impossible. And some people should not like us. If we're talking, honestly, some people shouldn't like you. They should never like you because there is something in them that just won't allow them to. But in our youth, we don't realize that. And we think that we need to work extra hard. We need to try harder. We need to please. We need to appease. And so we develop all these character traits and we try to, create connections and relationships with people that are never, ever going to be able to honor us, value us, or love us. So let's go ahead and move on to this next part. And so the lack of humility in this person's character is what led her to accept this exchange on your behalf. And so the people that were bound by their own resentment, they were never able to free themselves from the blocks that literally restricted their heart from ever truly loving and honoring you, right? And so in short, you are a mystic. You possess knowledge, intelligence, and brain power that is absolutely peculiar. And it made people close to you very uncomfortable. And you don't know what it's like to be opposite you. You really don't understand what these people are thinking and feeling when they're in your company because all you know is you, right? And so it's hard to imagine what somebody else is experiencing. And especially when you operate with the level of purity that you have, it just wouldn't even make sense that somebody would ever be threatened or offended by you. But it's true and it's real. And so you became a ticket to wealth. Right? They didn't love you, they didn't honor you, they didn't value, but there was some type of value that they could get off of you based on whatever this bribe or this temptation or this level of persuasion was that they received, right? You just became a ticket to wealth. And so once an agreement was made on behalf of your life, this was considered to be a win-win outcome. This is how it was explained, at least to whoever this mature man and this mature woman were. And so let's talk about this mature man. We talked about the characteristics of who this woman may be in your life. Now, this mature man that was in the partnership with the mature woman, they had no true love for you. And not taking it personally, they may not have ever loved anybody truly, right? And so they may have hated you or felt indifferent to you, right? That means that this more mature man lacked interest. He lacked concern, and he lacked empathy for your overall well-being. And when I asked who this mature man was, the King of Swords came out. And so the energy of this King of Swords, maybe this is an air sign, a Libra, a Gemini, or a Pisces. But nonetheless, the energy of this card reveals that this man may have been someone who liked to show off their knowledge. They love to discuss big ideals and big topics with lofty opinions, never really considering the perspective of other people, right? It's like a mental gymnast. Somebody who's really cerebral. They want to show you how much they know. It's almost as if every conversation or every room they walk into, they step on the stage. And whenever they open their mouth, they speak as if the spotlight is on them, right? Not really able to read the room or to read the responses that others are giving them. They're just so impressed with their own intellect that they really can't tap in to just social cues that they're getting from others around them. Now, that is the King of Swords, obviously in reverse. And so this man would often meditate and contemplate about how they could use your shine and your intuitive gifts for their personal advancement. Now, the mature man and the mature woman, they indulged in your birthright. Whatever light you have, whatever divine gifts you have, you came into this world with them. Now, obviously, in infancy, toddler, in our youth, we don't know how to use those things, right? But they are activated. They are on display. They are activated and they are absolutely on display. And so the Empress card also comes out, and it reveals that once you were operating in the energy of whatever your gifts were, you would shine as almost this divine feminine without restriction. And so that means that the world would be drawn to you, right? You would become this beautiful beacon of light that allows you to receive a flow of life force energy, so to speak, and a level of creativity that would enhance your passion in all areas of your life, right? I almost feel like I'm telling you the same thing that was told to these people about you, right? And they're almost telling these people your future, what's in store for you. But these people are not happy. They were not pleased. They were envious. They were jealous. And their heart was too restricted and bound tight to even understand that if they just worked with you, if they just nurtured you, if they just loved you, the wealth and the success that they were promised, it would have come. It would have come and it would have lasted forever. Because in this event, the reading ends with somebody losing everything. And so the goal was, for these people, the goal was to never allow you to shine, to never allow you, more importantly, to recognize that you had the ability to shine. And so in order to hide or to stifle your divine light, this mature man and woman, they decided to send, and obviously they didn't do this alone, this is what they agreed to. They sent almost like a supernatural disturbance that would bind itself to you in order to dull every gift that God seated inside of you. And so this is about you having like some kind of dark force entity attached to you, making it impossible for you to ascend to whatever it is your Akashic records say that you are to become, right? And so although they could never take your abilities, they just decided that they could use darkness in order to alter or in order to smother your light. And so for all the seasons of your life that you have had no access to your own light, these people were able to benefit from the divine provisions that your godly gifts are supposed to provide you with. And so what was not understood by these people is that whatever they attempted to capture your essence and use as their own, they couldn't control the fate. And so, yes, maybe they could take the light. Maybe they could take your provisions. But it is the fate. It is the destiny of what that light is to do that they couldn't stop. Right? And so for a period of time, I think that maybe they thought that they were you. Maybe they thought that they were controlling you, right? But your light has a certain fate. It has a certain outcome. And what they couldn't control was the outcome. And so they couldn't possess or preside over the supernatural path or the destined path that God had already granted you. And so as this reading closes, you come up in the energy of the free man. And the free man, it may appear to some as someone who is reckless and immature. Maybe people would consider you to be that way. But in reality, it's the fact that you are only interested in the attainment of wisdom. And so you don't do small talk. You don't do superficial things. You go against the grain. And so people really can't understand that. And it may be irritating to people. But the truth is that you are committed to following your passions and whatever it is that you know to be true. And so you are not somebody that needs to have a peanut gallery. You're not somebody that needs to have an audience. You're not somebody that seeks outside approval. And many people are followers, right? They follow the trends. They do things that they know will bring them acceptance. But that is just not the story of your soul. And so you do possess a fearless courage, right? Which allows you to follow your passion despite any consequences that you may endure. Almost like this immortal being, right? And if you think about your life, how many lives have you truly lived in this one life, right? Your faith is unshakable. And so nothing can restrict you. And this is where these people got confused, right? And so these people never consider the effects of your divine courage and the path that you literally could carve out of nothing. They felt like, well, if we restrict you, and if we don't love you, and if we abuse you, if we do all these things to you, it will be impossible for you to become anything and ascend to the heights that we already knew you were supposed to ascend to. But they can't control the supernatural. They cannot. They can manipulate for a certain period of time, but guess what? Even their ability to manipulate your light was built into the story of your life. God had already designed that. That was already a part of the plan. I mean, little do they know that they were just casted into your story. They were always a part of the script, right? But they never planned for the ending to be the ending. And so the connection that you have to the mystery and to the magic of life, it has given you some type of spiritual insight, right? And so at some point you decide to take action. You decide to move with your insight, right? And so your desired outcome in your mind, you know that it is not going to happen on its own. And so at some point you decide that I have to take a step forward, right? I have to make the decision to change my life. And the fact that you have taken charge of your life, this is what has triggered the catastrophe in the lives of those past handlers and the swindlers of your destiny. Nobody ever thought that you would be able to take control. Nobody considered your faith. Nobody considered the fact that you are not fearful. You are literally not afraid of any outcome. You're not afraid of being rejected. You're not afraid of walking alone. And so people who tend to need approval from others, they don't even know how to plan for someone like you, right? And so you have stepped onto the stage of your life's destiny to show the world the real you. You possess a level of peace and love and compassion for yourself, but also for others. And in short, you are shining. In this moment, you are shining, or you are leaving the season in which you were unable to shine, but you are preparing. And so maybe this message is just confirmation, letting you know about what you are truly stepping into and preparing for. And nothing can hide you. Nothing can hinder you. You absolutely have arrived to whatever this new phase or level is. And the cloak that once hid you has been dissolved. So at some point, the same entity that was bound or attached to you, it becomes something that you have the ability to control. You have the ability to cast away. You understand? And at some point, your light is so bright that it wouldn't be able to be attached to you anyway. It wouldn't be able to handle it. And so once you start changing your patterns of behavior, once you start relinquishing addictions, once you start picking up healthy habits and living a clean lifestyle, those are all the things that raise your vibration. And every time you raise yourself a notch in frequency, it shifts. It shifts any supernatural thing that was able to benefit off of you being dormant and not having access to your light. And so just like we have court, physical court, right, with judges and lawyers and just like we have the law of the land here, the judicial system, there is spiritual court, right, as above, so below. And so the final ruling in spiritual court is that you took the right action. You took the right action by stepping onto your divine path. And so you let everything that wanted to leave your life go. And you let everything that wanted to stay in your life stay. And this is how you brought balance, justice, and fairness. And so people that resisted or resented you, you let them go. Habits that were not helping you, you let them go. Jobs or relationships or just ways of being, anything in your existence that wasn't for the highest version of yourself, you let it go. And anything that stayed is because it was best for it to stay. And that is how you started to create balance in your own existence. And it was just those small decisions that you made that allowed you to take the power back. And so through acceptance, through surrender, and through detachment, you change the game. And so your soul is wise. The knowledge that you possess is absolutely ancient. I mean, people will literally have to live 1,000 lives before they can figure out how to do what you've done in one life, right? And let's consider the fact that you are nowhere near the end of your days, right? And so it may have taken you just half of your existence to figure this out, or even less. And so when we talk about you being remarkable and extraordinary, I mean, those words may not even be enough to explain what is truly inside of you. For those that opposed you, you are considered to be something dangerous. You absolutely are a threat. And these people fucked up. And I think what's even more scary for them is that they know that you know that they fucked up, right? And so now they have to watch you rise. They have to watch you win, right? They have to watch you climb. And they must watch you excel. And guess what? They're also going to watch you eat. And so all of the gifts and the access to the wealth and whatever comes with your divinity that they were able to benefit from, that's no more. Now they have to watch you enjoy it, right? And there are no seats at the table for anyone that does not match the divinity of your path, right? Because you let it go. So if you didn't know, you are here. You and your loved ones are safe in the remaining seasons of your life. All great fortune gained off of your light will be repossessed, and lack is the only portion for those that decided to freely steal from you. This could be 35 years in the making. However old you are is how long you have waited, knowingly or unknowingly, for this to balance out. And the balance is here. You are walking in your birthright, right? And so this is your moment to show the world the real you, because the life that you live, that was not the life that was intended for you. It was the life God allowed, right? Because all of the things that you endured, it was a part of you growing into yourself. It was a part of you maturing. And it was a part of you developing a level of stamina and strength. Like you are a force to be reckoned with. And if you would even take away one event or one day from your old life, you wouldn't be who you are today. So at some point, we just have to have gratitude for the pain and the devastation, because it got us here, right? And if we were to change one thing, we wouldn't be who we are today. And so if you can make peace and if you can forgive those, that's the best thing, because what's coming for you is what you deserve. It's what you desire. It's what you've waited for. So thank you and congrats to being in your birthright. I love you, and I'll see you on the next talk.